Namaste friends, welcome to the Web Technology Learning video series. In this very short video, we'll learn about the bus topology. What is a bus topology? A bus topology is a network topology where all the computers are directly connected to a half duplex shared medium. The terms half duplex and shared medium are very important in the context of a bus topology. What is a half duplex medium? A half duplex medium means there can only be one sender at all on the network. It can either receive or it can send, but cannot do both. So then that is called a half duplex medium. The computers can either send or receive because the medium is half duplex. That's the first term. The second term is shared medium. What is a shared medium? As you can see in the picture, all computers are connected to the same wire. If ever any computer wants to send data to another computer, it has to use the same wire. And any number of computers, if they want to talk to other computers, they have to send the data through the same wire. That is why it is shared. You can consider this to be very similar to the analogy where there are a lot of people in the same room and everybody is talking. All the voice is essentially going to the air, which is a shared medium, right? Then you can see that if in those cases, then we cannot hear each other properly, right? It's the same problem we'll have with bus topology. We'll come there, right? But to start with, bus topology is a half duplex shared medium bus, which is the cable, and all computers are connected to it. Then the terminology goes that the shared wire or medium is called bus, which is why the name bus topology is coming for it. The shared medium or the wire is called the bus, and each of the computers are called stations. You will hear this terminology again and again in other topologies as well. The computers are sometimes called nodes, sometimes called stations. The wire is sometimes called bus, sometimes it's a wire, you know. So this is the terminology. So the bus topology has a single bus and each station is connected to the bus. In fact, I can tell you this is the very first, in my first job when I joined a company, this is the topology for interconnecting all the computers. If ever somebody wants to be on a network, their computer, they have to extend this cable through some physical means, connect a T cable, and from that T connector, and from the T connector, your computer is connected. The cable is a coaxial cable, very much like the cable TV wire that we see today. There are problems there because if one computer has a problem, then it is inherited by all computers. But then we'll talk about it later. Then, how does the traffic flow in a bus topology? Let's take the example of a picture that we have on the screen. Right? There are 8 computers named A to H on a bus topology with a single wire. In a bus topology, every station receives all the network traffic. So if a computer B wants to send to G, then the data from B goes to the wire, and because the wire is shared, because the bus is shared, all the 8 computers excepting B, right? That means all the 7 other computers get the data. Why should they get the data that they should not be getting? That is the definition of a bus topology. All the stations get all the traffic. What do? They will check if the traffic is meant for them and then discard the data if that is not meant for them. Let's see. traffic B, computer B wants to send the data. You can see from the picture, it is highlighted, to computer G. So this is the data path from B to G. B sends the data onto the wire. It is indicated through the arrow. And then, as I said, because it's a shared bus, the bus is brimming with data across everywhere. All the computers receive the data received by A, C, D, E, F, G and H. Every computer other than B gets the data. Now, if you remember from the previous class, we said that each computer has an address, and that is the way that with which the packet, whether the data that is coming in, whether it is intended for it or not, is how it is looked at. So the packets that are coming in, the data that is coming in says I am meant for this so and so computer, and then all other computers will essentially discard it. Now in our case, what happens? Computer A, C, D, E, F and G, they all discard the data. They all get it, but they know it is not meant for them, so they discard it. Only computer G takes it and then processes it inside. Why? Because the data is coming from B and is meant for G. That is why G has not discarded the traffic. The traffic generated at each station has equal priority. There is no way we can say that computer A is a priority computer for me, so everybody should take its data, it's a higher priority data. No such thing happens in a bus topology. Now we have a problem, right? Let's see what the problem is. There are collisions. What if there are more computers that want to send the data at the same time, right? If more than one station tries to send the data at the same time, then collisions will occur, causing packet loss. Let's see what it means. Again, going by the same example, computer B wants to send data to computer G. Okay, then B is sending the data onto the wire. The wire has the data, or the bus has the data. Now, at this point, computer E now wants to send data to computer C. Okay, now we have two computers which wants to send the data. Now E also sends the data onto the same bus. Remember, the bus E is already having data from computer B. B is still transmitting data and G is receiving, as we have seen in the previous slide. But now computer E also wants to send data to computer C. It is putting its own data onto the same shared wire. This is like two people sitting close to each other and another pair, two pairs sitting close to each other and talking loudly in the same room. What happens? There is a collision. This collision means wire does not know where what the packet is and where it has to go. It essentially means nobody will receive any data. This is called packet collision. So that means nobody gets any data. The data is lost. To prevent collisions in bus topology or otherwise, stations use something called a carrier sense mechanism. What is this carrier sense mechanism? We'll try to discuss this in a very simplistic terms without really getting into too much of a technical jargon. Let's look at the same example. In a carrier sense mechanism or carrier sense multi-access, which is the technical term, CSMA, in this CSMA method, every station, before sending the data out on the wire, it checks if there is anybody interested in sending the data, or you can say if there is any ongoing transmission on the wire from any other stations. If there is none, then it sends, right? If there is no such transmission, it sends, but if there is some such transmission, then the station that wants to send will wait for some time and then try to send again, right? Let's look at as an example. The previous example will carry forward with what happens in a CSMA mechanism. Computer B wants to send to computer G. Now, before sending the data, computer B is actually checking the wire with that arrow that is there, a thin arrow. This is meant to check, meant to be indicate that B is checking if there is any ongoing transmission. So B is actually checking the wire if there is an ongoing transmission. Currently there is none. Nobody is sending any data. So B is happy. Check is complete. It starts transmitting the data. The wire now has the data. I don't know how long V is sending to G. Maybe there is a lot of data. So therefore the wire has data. Now in our example, we have one more computer E wanting to send data to C. Now because of CSMA, E, before it is transmitting, it will check if there is an ongoing transmission, right? So now E is checking the wire if there is an ongoing transmission. There is an ongoing transmission, so E will not send anything. It will stop sending. It will wait for some time. Meanwhile, B completed its transmission. No more data it is sending, and therefore the wire doesn't have any data. It has come back to normal position. Now E has been waiting, right? Now E will check again. Now it sees that the wire doesn't have any data. There is no ongoing transmission, and therefore it will send its own data. So that is the CSMA mechanism. Let's look at what Mr. B has to say in this mechanism. Will CSMA work in all cases? It appears that there is no guarantee that when a computer checks, the wire is available. True. I think what Mr. B is asking is, let's say in our previous example, one of the computer wants to check if there is a transmission. Let's say there is a transmission. Then it will wait. We said it will wait. So far that is good. What happens when it waits and then checks again? There is no guarantee that the wire will be available at that time, because meanwhile somebody else, some other computer may have started transmission, in which case this computer will have to wait again. So there is no guarantee that even if you wait for n number of times or too many times, that the wire will eventually be available, right? If you don't check, then there is going to be collision. If you check, then there is no guarantee that the wire will be available. So that's the answer. This is drawback of CSMA is rather well known. This is like a documented problem because of CSMA. So there have been some solutions that are suggested that you should actually wait for a random time, and you should back off for an exponential. If you wait for 1 second now, and you see again, and if you see that the wire is busy still, then you wait for an exponential time like 2 seconds or maybe 4 seconds, right? But all of these mechanisms are trying to make sure that when you check again, that wire may be available. But then this means that you have an indefinite way of knowing, a non-predictable way of checking, and then knowing when you can use the wire. This unpredictable thing is a very bad thing in the bus topologies. Okay, let's see what are the advantages of bus topologies. Remember, when we talked about, or when we learnt about the topologies, we said there is an evaluation criteria for a topology. There are certain metrics, right? Let's see how bus topology does on those metrics. It is very easy. It is very simple. It is just a wire. Every computer just connects to that wire. It is very simple. It is very cheap, because most of the cost is just the wire and the connectors. You can easily add more computers to topology because all that is needed is a computer and the wire is already there. Even if one of the computers is down, it doesn't really affect the topology, right? Let's say in our example, if one of the computers does not work, all other computers which are sharing the same bus can continue to talk to each other, no problem. Unlike some other topologies that you will learn in subsequent lessons, there is no additional networking equipment that is necessary. I am talking about things like hubs, things like switches, which are additional equipment that is needed in the other topologies. No such equipment is required in the bus topology. We have good number of advantages, but we have disadvantages. We talked about them briefly earlier. Shared wire will cause collisions in traffic loss. We have seen that with examples in the previous slides, right? Now, to avoid this, we have CSMA, but then CSMA comes with unpredictability. Let's see. When we add more computers with with more length of the wire, the latency comes into the picture. Because the packet has to transmit from one part to the other part, the latency will go high. What is latency? I hope you remember. Latency is the time that the packet is taking to go from the intended source, from the source to the intended destination. So it is directly proportional to the length of the wire. If you have a lot of huge wire, then the latency will be higher. If because there is a single wire, because it is shared, if the cable has a problem in one place, the entire network is disrupted. Disrupted means it runs into problems. This single wire means it's a single point of failure for the entire topology. Then we talked about this ASMA mechanism, why it is because of its unpredictable nature, it becomes slow. The overall throughput of the network, which essentially means the data speeds in the net topology, are slower. Some disadvantages and advantages we have seen. But let's look at why the bus topology has its problems. The computers are intelligent, but the wire is not intelligent. Now you have an unintelligent medium that every computer is trying to use, so you have a problem. Because there is no guarantee of access to the bus. The bus itself cannot ensure that only one person can use. The computers are trying to coordinate with each other by using the CSMA kind of checks, but then that is becoming a problem. So that is why the bus topology, because of the lack of intelligence of the bus, has resulted in all the problems that we have seen. This is one of the earliest topologies that has ever deployed, but it has its own set of problems, and therefore nobody is using this anymore. Thank you for listening to the lesson. We'll see each other again with the next topology, an interesting one, that is token ring topology. Thank you.